Hello, and welcome to the Secular Homeschool Revolution. I am your host, Ashley. As always, I'm super grateful that you decided to join me and tune in. This week's episode is just going to be more about my failures this week. You know how life is a bunch of like ebb and flows, and I definitely felt a lot of ebbs. And I wasn't super eager to pull myself out of it. I was very eager to throw a little temper tantrum or pity party for myself. So send my family good vibes for putting up with me this week. And I mean, the things that just weren't going my way weren't super detrimental. It just caused, inconveniences. So I'm going to talk about it. As the format goes, I give a life update, I give a podcast update, and really my whole episode is going to be a life and podcast update. I officially have 22 5-star reviews on Spotify. That's me giving myself a little dance. So that's something that's going my way. That's pretty cool. And I got a couple of cool comments on my YouTube channel, which I have 47 followers now, and I really haven't posted anything on YouTube or on my Instagram the last couple of weeks, or I think Instagram said I haven't updated anything in like 12 days. I'm trying to decide what my goals are for this podcast, because I really don't want to be a TikToker. I love TikTok, and I do love to watch a lot of the TikTok content creators. I love all the things that I see on Instagram, but even just doing this podcast, I do realize it's a lot of work to just put yourself out there and to like grow your audience. And a big part of me just wants to do the podcast. I don't want to do videos for TikTok, like in the sense where I'm like doing whatever's trending and finding what that is, and engaging with the comments and liking someone's TikTok for them to like you back. That's a whole lot of other work that I don't know if I want to do. And I was creating graphics, and I still have some graphics that I was bulk creating on Canva, and I could schedule them out to be released, but even that's like a lot of work. And I think that's just where I'm at. Everything just feels like a lot of work, and I think I'm leaning towards like I just want to do the podcast. I don't want to do the other stuff. If you find me, amazing. If you want to share it, amazing. But and like I said, I do want to take up space, but I think the space I want to take up is just in the podcasting world and not on everything else. So we'll see. My feelings may change. I don't know. I think also I got a little overwhelmed. Like you guys, I've told you, I'm in a bunch of like different Facebook groups, and I've done like some webinars, watched some YouTube videos. I also signed up for like the Spotify Podcasters Masterclass that's coming up to learn more about it. But yeah, to grow anything on social media, it's like a whole other job on top of whatever business or whatever else you have going on with your family. And to have like a homeschooling podcast is very niche, right? Because, not everyone's homeschooling. The population of people who are secular is small, and then you reduce it down to like BIPOC homeschoolers, which is even smaller. So I know my target audience is very small, and it's not discouraging me, but I like sometimes think I need to do more work to find those people who are looking for a space. And I'm like, well, do I want to add more to my plate? So it's all just up in the air for me right now. But I think I also have this mindset because of the week that I've been having. Okay, so I've been failing this week. So my last episode, I did say I was going to have a video guest, my first video guest. Well, guys, I couldn't figure it out. Like, I tried a couple different softwares. I did some test runs. Actually, interviewed a friend, Miss Ariel, from our co-op. We did a practice run, recorded it, the light was blinking, and it only kept a small amount of the interview, and it completely took off the first half, and we thought it was on her end and my end, and I chatted with the people, and there's no other part of the interview that was found. So I had people like lined up each day, but I let them know that I hadn't figured out the podcasting video guest thing yet, and I thought I did, but I don't want to waste anybody's time until I fully get it down. And so Ariel was super, super encouraging, because she did say, I'm up for re-recording whenever you are. I have time next week. And she's like, this is the part no one talks about when they're building something, about the failures, the stuff that doesn't work. And they like to pop out and like, I'm this successful person, and try to make it seem like it comes easy. And it just doesn't. And I think every avenue and twist and turn I take with this podcast, I'm learning so much. And it sometimes can be overwhelming. And I'm like, oh, well, in the future I can do this or I can do that. So I'm trying to just not burn myself out, pace myself, and remember my reasoning for doing this. So for co-op, we're getting back into co-op season, right? And preparing for the fall. And we block things. So we had like a parent level up class for our co-op teachers, because at the end of the year survey, a lot of the feedback was they would like to be more prepared going into the year. They would like more support. So we were creating, resources and a workshop to help support our parents. And then after the level up workshop, 2 weeks later, we have a deadline to submit your class. You have to submit 2 class proposals for co-op, because we are a parent-led co-op. So all the parents have to teach. So everyone has to submit 2 proposals. I set a deadline for myself for it to be finished and completed by Wednesday. It is Thursday at 12:30. And it is not done. And I'm doing a podcast instead of doing my proposal. I think I like the adrenaline rush of procrastination, and I can't quit it. It's like a drug. I like that push. But I definitely have to turn it in on time, because if we don't, we lose our spot in co-op. And I agreed to that. So I have to follow it. And we're trying not to be such sticklers or have hard lines, but we also are trying to, run an organization, and we don't get paid for this. So it becomes more intense when we're having to constantly remind people, constantly support people, which we don't mind supporting, but when it becomes overbearing, it takes the fun out of co-op for us. So I don't want to be that person who needs a reminder that I have to turn in my class proposal tomorrow. I do have one proposal done. I just haven't thought of the second one. So I did think through a couple of options. So for my first one, we're going to do a book study. We love books at my house, and Parker, my oldest, actually suggested doing a book study. And so we were looking for the most perfect book, and I think we found one. So then my second proposal, I was being indecisive. So I might want to do a decolonized World War I. I think that sounds pretty interesting, and we can look at different perspectives throughout World War I and the impact it had. That could be cool. The other one I thought about was repurposing a couple of classes I've already done. So in the last fall, I did diversity in art, so I could offer that to another age group. and we looked at BIPOC artists and their impact. And the way I structured the class was I did a slideshow, and it was basically, the biography, the timeline of the artist. Then we looked at the artist's pieces and had discussions and like talked about shadows or talked about lines or like color palette or what was the message or what is it, what resonates with you looking at the piece. And then we went and created our own versions of the art. And then, which was really cool, because after that class ended, we ended up doing a museum tour, and a couple of the artists that we covered were in the tour. We're at the museum, so that was nice. The other class I did was in the spring. It was Intro to Ethnic Studies, and I did it for our youngest group, and I could see how I could improve that class and offer it to an older group. But in Intro to Ethnic Studies, we first focused on self, because you can't navigate in this world without having a strong foundation of understanding who you are, where you come from, what that means. And so I really liked the conversations we even had with the little kids about self. And the conversations even around name and the importance of respecting a person's name and the spelling and the pronunciation was really cool. So maybe I'll bring that back. But it's always all these cool options. And there's a Facebook page called I'm a Homeschool Co-op Teacher. So if you're a traditional educator and you're listening to this, I strongly encourage you to go into the I am a Homeschool Co-op Teacher and just put in a subject. These homeschool parents are creative. So imagine if you could just create your own class without any restraints that were connected to testing, and you could fully design it the way you want it. That's what these people are doing for their co-ops. Incredible inspiration. And again, it's called I'm a Homeschool Co-op Teacher. So check it out if you are in a co-op or you want to start a co-op and you're looking for class ideas. That's definitely a place of knowledge. And I will let you know, it's not fully secular. There are Christian classes offered, but it's definitely not Christian classes only. So check it out. Okay, so another way I failed this week was I failed to continue stretches. There were 3 days I had not stretched. I'm sitting in this chair feeling stiff AF. And I know that I'm feeling stiff AF, and I'm still choosing not to stretch. Why do I self-sabotage like this? I don't know. So I probably will stretch in the morning, because now I feel like I shamed myself for bringing it up in a podcast. But another way that I did show up for myself was reading this book, The Art of Showing Up, and how to be there for yourself and your people. So I read through the book, loved it, made me question myself in so many different ways. This book has a lot of good activities. So now I went through the book. Now I'm going back and rereading it and doing the activities. And it is definitely making me reevaluate myself. So it's gives you a list of just categories, your values, your boundaries, the way you communicate. And especially in the values part, I think I was surprised at the things that I was choosing, more so because it wasn't what I initially thought I was going to go in and choose. And it kind of felt like I'm shedding this old snake skin. And I'm am I this person? And this snake skin of, I think I'm going to be, 37 in a couple of months, or in a few months. And in my mind, I'm forever 32. And I don't even know why 32 is the number, because I don't think that was like a great year for me in that regard. But in my mind, I'm forever 32. And even when I was 32, I think I was forever 25. I know, I know, I know. Okay, so when I was thinking through that, I think I'm one of those delusional millennials who think I look younger than I do, and think I'm one of those millennials who think I'm not going to age like the way the generation before me did. I don't know. I definitely realize I'm slightly delusional. And then I think too, because my husband is 10 years older than me, I always feel younger. I don't know. I am living in an age of delusion, I think. And this book was kind of bringing me out of that. So I'm excited to like go through the activities now. I understand the context of the book. So I will let you guys know how I can improve. And also, I think the last couple of years, I had made a New Year's resolution to be a better friend. So my best friend, my longest knowing friend, me and her, I think we function well because we definitely don't have to be in each other's business all the time, and we don't have to talk that often. And then when we do talk, it is usually, we're there for each other. We definitely understand each other. We both have, so I think we both pretty much approach friendships like if you have a lot of drama or a lot going on, we both will like chunk you the deuce. I don't usually have like that sense of like needing to be as involved in my friend's drama, right? And she's very much like that too. And I've struggled with friends because they feel like you know, I don't have their back as much as they would want me to or something. But like as soon as your drama starts impacting my life, I just can't be that friend. And I think that's a boundary I've held. And I've actually lost a lot of girlfriends that way. And like, you don't care or you're too cold hearted. And it's none of that. I think there's a level of wanting to protect my peace. And I've had drama in my life. And I think I've liked support from friends. So I'm having to like reevaluate that. But also, like, dumb friend drama, like in your 20s, is different than friend drama in your 30s. And so I'm trying to grow to be a better friend. And what that looks like on how to support a friend, I'm hopefully going to learn that in this book of the art of showing up for yourself and your people. Big win I did have this week was finalizing Parker's 7th grade curriculum. So I'm really excited. So for history, we chose the Woke U.S. History 2nd edition. So Woke's been around for a while, and I didn't like the 1st edition. And so I didn't realize they had a 2nd edition until I went, I'm researching, options. I was trying to hold out for Mint and Bloom U.S. history because I feel like there was a newsletter or a Facebook group post that they were working on it, and there has been no other mention. So I went ahead and was looking for other options. I think it was between like Blossom and Root or Woke, and I decided on Woke U.S. History 2nd edition. And I don't know, I like their decolonized approach. I like that it's a book-rich curriculum. They do have on the website the option to like purchase all the books. It's like book bundled for all the books you need for the curriculum. I am cheap. I have a lot of kids. I luckily was able to find several of the books through my local library. I did have to order one off of like thrift books for like $4.99. So I'm glad that I went back and looked at the second edition. And if you're curious about Woke's U.S. history, they do let you download a sample page. And it's mostly positive reviews online. So I'll let you know how we navigate through that. Like I said, I was really trying to hold out for Mint and Bloom. So if I'm reflecting on this week and like all of the roller coaster emotions that I had, I think I need to take a chill pill. I know like podcasting was annoying, the interviews were annoying, but I survived. I still have time to meet my last minute deadline tomorrow, and I know I do because Kari has ballet folklorico and piano, and Langston's going with his dad to do some errands, so I will have time to take my laptop and work on my proposal because piano is an hour long and ballet folklorico is an hour long. So I will not be mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, and I will get my proposal done on time. And what else? And I am excited that I was able to finalize Parker's. I'm working on Kari's. I'm pretty close of like putting together Langston's. Like we got a cool preschool science experiment book. So we'll do an episode on what I'm deciding for Langston and for Kari in their respective age groups. But I think for the most part, I'm thankful for just having resiliency. And sometimes it's just not going to be great all the time. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tiring, it's going to be annoying. And as long as we remember that to face these challenges and to celebrate the small victories, the big victories, I think we'll all survive. All right, so that is a wrap for this week's episode. Thank you for joining me on the Secular Homeschool Revolution podcast. I am your host, Ashley. I really appreciate you guys for this episode sitting with me and my feelings and me acknowledging my failures and my one accomplishment of deciding Parker's curriculum. Because if you ever just sat down and tried to like plan or pick curriculum, you do know it can be overwhelming at times. And also curriculum isn't super cheap. I mean, there are free curriculums out there, but it definitely can get a little bit pricey. And if you have multiple kids, like trying to navigate what that looks like in your budget and to make sure everyone has what they need. So it could be a lot. So it was a big accomplishment for me to like make final decisions on Parker's curriculum. So, and again, I'm working on being a better friend. If there's any failures or hiccups that you experienced this week, share them with me. I'll be happy to sit with you in those feelings. If you had any triumphs and just like wins, even if they feel small, they're still wins. Share those with me too. We are building a community here. So I'd love to hear what you have going on. I have been receiving the best feedback and comments on my YouTube channel. I don't have that many followers, but I have some pretty incredible comments on some of my videos. So that's one way to like give feedback. And then the other way is to shoot me a comment or message on Instagram. I will get better at checking it. On Spotify, you can only, leave a star. And by the way, don't forget, I have 22 5-star reviews. If you've ever built something, you definitely know that that is hard work. And like I said in my last episode, it's not the people you know that's going to support you. It's these people who are looking for a space or community, on the interweb. But thank you guys for listening to me, and catching up with me in my life and how I'm navigating ebbs and flows this week. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And also, don't forget to keep revolutionizing your homeschool education. Until next time.